Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of PMP's Den of Antiquities. Today, me and all my friends from across the Star Wars galaxy are here to talk about Andor Episode 8. And I know we were talking about this a little bit beforehand, but it's tough, man. It's tough coming from Tales of the Jedi when there was just so much hype, and then come back. I like Andor. I liked it all the way through, but Tales of the Jedi was just like another level of hype. So I'm just like, I feel like we were joking. If you guys missed the watch party, you should definitely go check that out. But that meme of the dude like looking back with the girlfriend or whatever, checking out the Andor, yeah. Also, if you guys watch Tales of the Jedi and you want to be a part of the roundtable, come next Friday at 7, and we're going to be having a live roundtable here. So come check us out there. But more importantly, Andor, what did you guys think?
Yes.
Another great episode.
Yes.
Smile and grin from ear to ear, man. Got to go back to seeing one of my favorite characters who apparently is a Black Series figure, thanks to our other buddy that showed me that, and that should do it. And anyway, as a point, seeing Saw Gerrera, which again puts an infinite smile on my face. I love that actor, and I love what he does.
Yeah. Forrest Whitaker really sells it, dude.
Yeah, dude. And he doesn't have the breathing apparatus yet, so
yeah, it's kind of cool to see him. He's like a kind of like a. I mean, he still has battle scars, obviously, but a less like battle scarred Saw Gerrera. You know,
we got like cheek was stitched up though, right?
Like I think he had like a
still probably fighting.
Yeah,
it's funny. Whenever I see him, I always forget he was trained by Anakin and Ahsoka and Rex. So it's fun whenever I see him. It's like, oh yeah, that happened.
We were just talking about this earlier. Like Saw's whole military like attack mode is guerrilla tactics. I mean, he attacks at the right moment. He like builds up things, attacks at the right moment, and then runs away again. So like this whole seeing him waiting and talking to Luthen, like, oh, I'll buy those things from you. Just kidding. Like he's supplying himself. He's getting ready. So that's pretty cool to see. Oh yeah, Andor city.
Yeah, dude, it was intense seeing. Like it was cool seeing like their little like hideaway base and stuff like that. And it was like obviously you could tell that like they both had like rapport with each other because they were kind of like, oh, I thought it was you. Like I kind of got like almost like a Han Solo and like Lando Calrissian kind of vibes. Like, oh, it wasn't you who did the heist. I thought it was you. Like whoever has that money is gonna have a lot of money. You know, kind of like they know it was like one or the other.
He's definitely putting two and two together. This is like before he lost his mind from Boar Gullet. So
yeah,
before the lies and deceptions,
deceptions. But yeah, this episode was an interesting one. I feel like there's so many like little things, and like that's the thing I really like about Andor is Andor has so many like little like minute details that like they're so easy to like gloss over. But if you've spent like the hours watching like all Star Wars, you're gonna be like, oh, I get that reference, or oh, I know that one. But what did you guys think of kind of So Cyril kind of got put in the hot seat by the ISB, you know.
But I think he wanted it, man.
Yeah,
I think he knew. Well, first off, him trying to get Andor screwed for anything. Anytime he puts his name in the system, he's going to get called out. But whenever he was in that interview room, he was letting her have it. As much as she thought she had control, he was like, "No, you said 5 times. It's actually 6." He knew what he was doing. He wants to get back in the game, and it was getting pulled into that interview, and him planting seeds in her head. So I'm definitely ready to see where that's going to go because he's definitely not done.
Oh, for sure.
I'm sorry, my mind was just going to Deidre Miro, like the ISB chick, like grabbing Cyril Karn by the shirt collar. Where is she? He's like, you'll never find him. It's simple. We kill.
Well, he had like a little grin, like when she walked away. He was like, "Oh man," he's like,
"Yeah, did it now."
Yeah.
And then we kind of get a little scene with Mon Mothma, but I mean, did you guys find anything? I tried because I watched it over again. I didn't really find anything like super significant. It just
So,
kind of seemed like more of the same.
Did you guys notice how Tay at the end is gone and she's trying to find him and she immediately gets concerned? Dude, I'm telling you, her kid's a snitch too, just like the dad.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's the one we need to worry about,
She's
man.
definitely gonna break away from her family.
Yes.
Mon is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got weird vibes because she kind of came up and was like, "Oh, we've met before," and I was like, "That's kind of like she's like very forward with it,
Yes.
you know."
Yeah, she said, "You've been here a lot. You keep coming around. Like, what's your, why are you here?" So, and then all of a sudden at the end of the party, where's he at?
Yep.
Those I saw Disney was like, I guess like they were dipping like worms in the drink. Was that what it was? Like it was like a type of like
What do
worm
they
and it
call
like
those?
disintegrated.
Space worm. It's like cotton
Yeah.
candy when you put it in water, just like evaporates.
Yeah, but it I saw Disney. They put like a how to make one of those things. They've been doing that with Andor. They did it with like the
those
cocoa
are
puff,
cool.
things like the cocoa bars or whatever. And now they did the drinks too that you can make.
Love it.
Listen, I don't care about no fizzy drinks. I want my boy Nick's blue noodles, man.
That's right.
Let's go. Let's go.
He made the ramen, man. Space ramen. Awesome.
Yeah, Nick,
Last
man, you got to come up on one episode just eating and be like, "Yep." I
Last
got it.
Roundtable, episode 12. I'm doing it.
Let's go. Let's go.
I'll do it.
The food of Andor.
And then we get man, I'm like, it's Narkita 5. It was
Narkina, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Narkina 5.
What'd you guys? I kind of caught almost like an Avengers style.
Yeah.
Because like I know that in the Avengers it's not a prison. It's like, or is it? No, it is a
Oh,
prison.
it's a prison. Yeah, it's a
Yeah, I
prison.
kind of got some
Yeah.
kind of like Avengers style thing. What did you guys think about that whole kind of like setup? And like it was kind of interesting. Like we haven't seen like their like orange boots and like the whole like way everything works and stuff like that. What did you guys think about that?
Those Air Force Ones.
Yeah, they get the drip.
Marty McFly.
The Imperial
95
Fives.
facts. Good times.
Does
No,
anyone know the significance of the number 7 on Narkina 5? Because there are 7 bases.
Yep.
Each of the base has 7 sides. Each of the base has 7 levels. Each has 7 rooms.
It's evil.
7 tables. Everything is 7 in that place.
Yeah.
So does anyone else know a significance that I'm missing here?
I'm
I
blanking on mythology because like in
Didn't catch it.
mythology, 7 has like a very specific number. Like
I
that's like
didn't
a very
pick up on the number
but I
7
know-
being repetitious.
Oh, it was all through. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to rewatch that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to go back, but I know in mythology, like 7 is like a very significant number for a
Okay.
lot. It might be in Greek mythology, but I know in mythology 7 is like a very specific number.
Well, in Christianity, there's the 7 archangels and the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah.
That's.
So I think 7 goes
all we
every which way to begin with, but I did not pick up on that repetitious.
Yeah, I
was
did-
it 7 like 7 prison
Yeah.
holes in the water? You said.
Yeah, there were
So there were
7
seven- there
actual
were 7.
bases.
Yeah.
Each base had 7 sides. Each base had 7 levels. And then Andy Serkis said that there were 7 tables. Each with 7 people at it. So
Were the things they building with those arm claw things? Did they have 7 arms?
I don't know. I was just thinking about that. I never paid attention to that, but that would be added.
I don't know
added to the
actually.
list.
I don't think so. I think
Nick's
those only had
back in
6,
the
but they
bag.
were making 7 at a time to put on a card.
You gotta go watch it again, man.
Yeah, also shout out to Andy Serkis for being in Star
I
Wars
almost
again.
spit
I was gonna
my
say
water
Star Wars
out
for
when
the
I
first
saw
time.
that. I was not
Dude,
expecting
I
that.
saw
cameo.
that. That was another jump up, man. That was awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was funny though that he was like, I got like 200 days left on my sentence. And I was like, well, it seems like everybody else besides him in that prison knows that they're not going, and they're like, don't look at the number. Like the number never moves. And like you can see like 30 days after Andor's been there, his number's like the same still.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's
what's
like
going on, Strike? Appreciate you, man.
Brother.
buddy.
What's up?
How you doing?
Like the old guy, he didn't have. I can't remember the exact number, but I remember he had like a double-digit number, like a 50
Yeah.
or 40 or something like that. And that poor guy, his time was not coming down. It didn't look like so. Feel
Yeah.
bad for that old dude.
The Empire just hands out years like it's nothing. So like
Yeah.
if they give you a certain amount of years and you happen to be an old guy, just consider it a lifetime warranty that you're going to be in the
It's prison, but in dog years,
Yeah.
Well, they said like after the Aldani heist, they like as
Doubled it,
punishment, they increased everybody's by like
Double down.
several years,
Yeah.
So
The one thing about the prison though that I did pick up on the first watch through of it I did. I know that because I was like, man, that looks very familiar. Someone said they based that off of I don't know if it was the writer of the episode or whoever it was, but they based off a homage to George Lucas THX, one of his first movies that he ever did, and everything was just very
Oh.
crazy.
All the
with
with
that.
the white
with the
corridors.
Yeah.
suits. Yeah.
So-
See, with the
Cool.
white corridors, I said it during the thing. I was like, "This
Yeah,
reminds
I
me of
remember we were-
Magneto's plastic prison."
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
but what about that drop off scene where they get off and they're all lined up, ready to go, and that guy comes out with that smirk and he's like, "Check it out," Boop. And
Yeah.
everybody,
Yeah.
you know,
That was one of 3.
that's it. Poor Andor, he got sucked down hand and feet.
Brutal.
You know,
I
Everybody
just
else
love
is kinda-
how. I just love seeing how much more aggressive they've made stormtroopers in the show. Where when Andor's boarding the shuttles, they're like yelling at everyone, saying like "Don't look at me," and telling them to move it. But they sound much more aggressive than we usually get to see them. So I really like them doing that.
They probably amped up the security droids too, because just hold him probably means stay here and not choke the life out of him up against the wall.
Yeah.
So they were probably up in everything, I want to say.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I think like short troopers are like, you know how there's like different, like the snow troopers that were in Solo were supposed to be like the elite of the elite like trooper, like they gave everybody else crap because of how like awesome they were. So like maybe short troopers are like another like level
So,
up too, like they're like
If
another
I
step
remember
up.
correctly, the lowest ranking shore trooper can lead a squad of stormtroopers. If I remember
Oh, okay.
yeah. So
Oh.
yeah, I'm pretty sure. Now, granted, I don't want to shut the podcast down and have somebody come hunting for me because I gave off wrong Star Wars details. But I remember when I was trying to build the backstory to Dragon, coming across an article or a couple different things about the shore troopers. Lowest ranking guy could command a squad of stormtroopers.
Oh
So-
wow.
Well, if I remember correctly, in Rogue One, like when they're like the base is going and Scarif is like going to shit, and like they're like you see like like I think like 1 or 2 shore troopers with like a battalion of like just regular stormtroopers.
Yeah, they all just
Right.
flood out of that one thing when the base is under. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I didn't know that there was like I thought they were just kind of like, you know, like different climates have different things, but that would be cool if they were like a higher ranking than, because I guess we don't really know a whole bunch about like, or maybe we do when I just don't know about it, but the ranking of like different like Imperial like stormtroopers and stuff like that. Like obviously, like I know Death Troopers are higher up because they're always like with the officials and stuff like that. But is there like I'm sure there's probably something on like Wikipedia or something like that of like the
Yeah.
whole thing, because we know that for like the generals and like the admirals and moffs and stuff like that, because they have like the little
It's the amount of squares on
the
their
crease.
badge. too.
Yeah, the badge. That's what I was like, I don't know, I couldn't think of the word. I was like, what is it?
Happens the best of us.
But yeah, it was cool. So we get Andy Serkis, which like I wasn't expecting at all. And then
was
we
awesome.
get I'm blanking on his Melshi. I was like, actually,
Yeah.
I found that out.
Dude, that was awesome.
When I was creating the thumbnail, I was like looking, and somebody had like Melshi and like Cassian from Rogue One. I was like, wait a second. And I like went back and watched the
I
episode.
missed
And
it
he was,
too.
Yeah. Charlie and I were doing the watch party. We were looking right at the damn thing, right in front of us, and it just completely.
Yeah, we were
slipped my mind.
freaking out about Andy Serkis, so that completely slipped the mind. So whenever same thing here, man, I was like, no.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think he has like a shaved head though, and he has like more of a beard or something
It's
like
like a
that in
buzz cut,
Rogue
yeah.
One. So
Yeah,
it's
and
like
I
a
think
little.
he's the guy that gets smashed at the beginning, right? Where when he's going to rescue Jen Erso, isn't he the first guy in, and she cracks him over the head with a shovel?
Yeah, that's him.
I think he ends up
Talk about
dying
trust
from
building.
a Death Trooper, right? Like he gets
yeah,
shot by
he's
the-
with the master switch.
yeah. So that's crazy that he makes it all the way till then. Like I'm excited. I'm like, now that I know that, I'm just like, I'm ready to see a Prison Break with them too.
Yeah,
Just,
dude.
like,
So
going-
what do you guys think
episode-
about the guy doing the signs and stuff from?
Oh, you mean the
whatever?
whole game of rock paper scissors?
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I wonder what
was
they were
awesome.
talking about.
I
you
think
know?
a prison break is already in the works, and Andor is just going to get swept up in it next episode.
Well, it definitely is, because I mean he's been in there like it flash forwards during the episode like 30 days or 30 shifts, which we can assume is like a shift
Yeah.
a day. So like a month, he's about a month in. So off screen, he's probably been gathering reconnaissance and other like intel on the and I used the reference again, Escape Plan with Sylvester Stallone. He's watching the firemen and the guards at the top.
Well, you see Cassian do that right when they're bringing him in to drop him off at the workstation. Like he's checking out the boots and he's looking at how many, all the people sitting around.
Yeah, when he first got in there, that he was late. He picked up on that 100%.
Yeah, I think the Imperials are relying so much on the floor to keep the prisoners in line that when the breakout does happen, they're not really going to be able to handle it.
He's going to steal them Air Force Ones.
But yeah, because like that was I now that I'm thinking about it, the like right when they come in, the guy's like, "Oh, I'm late," and he came in, he's like, "Oh, sorry, we're behind down there." So like they don't have that.
Yeah, they don't have a schedule or anything to keep up with everything.
Yeah, it's
shame on them.
right.
I know, right.
We kind of go back to man, I don't know what Ferrex. That's what it is. I was like, I've always blank on Cassian's like the planet he's from. So we go kind of flashback to there. And did you guys pick up on Vel and Cinta like being in a relationship? Because like I did, like that caught me off guard.
Yeah, I think with the whole sharing the blanket at the beginning of it, whatever episode that was.
I didn't even see that. I must have.
Yeah. Well, so I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy who gets smoked at the end of the heist episode, he says, hey, don't worry about that. They're already sharing a blanket. So.
I think you're right. Yeah. Okay, it's all coming together now. But yeah, I was surprised because I'm a dingus and didn't pick up on any of that. But I think that's kind of cool that they're kind of just like kind of stalking and waiting, and then you kind of see what's the Imperial ISB officer's name?
Dedra.
I like how she's kind of like being like, oh, let her see the guy. He's like, and he's like, what are you doing? Like, get him out of here. I was like, oh man, I was like, you're sneaky.
But what about Luthen's right-hand girl? You know what I mean? Telling her, don't answer that, cut it loose, shut it off. I mean, I know he's in charge, but let me tell you, man, she is like the voice of, she's the devil on the shoulder. She's like, cut him loose, turn it off, don't even worry about it.
The loud mouth though might get her in some trouble though. I think Luthen after this heist is trying to cut all ties. I think he wants to play a role so bad in the rebellion, but as soon as he makes an important mark, he backs out last second and tries to hide. I think the stakes kind of weigh on him when it comes time.
Well, to play devil's advocate, I think he actually appreciates it because it's like if you have like a true friend, like usually if you have like a friend that's like so like they won't tell you the truth. They won't tell you like even if it's like really tough, like be like, hey man, you probably shouldn't be doing that. But like if you have like a best bro or like a best friend, they're gonna tell you like whether like you're gonna get mad at them, sad, whatever, because they're your friend and that's the right thing to do. And I think she kind of fits that. Like he goes, I'm not slipping, and she goes, I know. She's like, I just want to make sure that you know that, it's to kind of like get in his head. So that's like I felt like she was like being like a really good, like a friend or something like that with that.
Yeah, you have to be close in this kind of work for sure.
Oh yeah. She, I don't know why too, but she kind of like, maybe it's just her facial structure, but she gives me Leia vibes, dude. Like I don't know why.
At first, her name even, I thought whenever what was the assistant that was yelling? Like, no, it was Luthen that said it. I thought he said Leia at first, and like she has a similar name. I was like, what?
Ooh, and I think it's her daughter. I think it's Mon Mothma's daughter.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna like a brief cameo of like, because at this time point she'd be like teenage at this and everything. So,
dude, that'd be crazy if we got that.
I was like frozen and everything like that. I was like,
oh, if we get like a Jimmy Schmidt's cameo or something like that,
dude,
like that's what
I think that has to happen. That has to.
The closer they get to Rogue One, man, they've already showed Saw. So
yeah,
like maybe not this season, but like if there's 2 more seasons, like he can pop up somewhere. Like him popping up in Tales of the Jedi, I was like, oh, like I was like, I didn't know I needed that. Like that was. That
Don't
was
get
awesome.
Me crying again. Don't get me crying.
I know, man. It's tough. It's tough. And then the kind of like one of the final things we get to see is like him. We already talked about it, kind of going to Saul and seeing their kind of little banter and stuff like that. Do you think we're gonna maybe not in this? I think this one's really about Cassian joining the rebellion, so we're probably just gonna focus on that. You guys think we're gonna see any because Mon Mothma mentions Saw's cost them a great many defeats and casualties and stuff like that. Do you guys think we're gonna see any of that? Anything that's we know Saw's bad. We've seen him do some stuff in Rebels that was kind of shady. We've seen him kind of be gung ho, but we haven't really seen him do any crazy amount of damage. I feel like. Do you guys think we're gonna see that?
He still carries the same stubbornness as he did all the way back.
Mm-hmm.
In every iteration we see him in.
I think this would be the show to do it in too, because this show's clearly not afraid to pull any punches when it comes to showing dark stuff. So
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if we see stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, a dude literally killed himself, and the other prisoner's like, "Oh, now we gotta smell it."
Oh,
Yeah, I was like, that's
God.
rough.
Damn.
That I feel like too they gave a lot of attention to the guy with the orange hair. Does he look for some reason he looked familiar to me? Did you guys catch that at all, or was that just
that
me?
was like almost the cell across from him.
Yeah, I feel like they've been showing him
Oh,
a lot, even more than the Melshi. I feel like he's been
I feel
there,
like they're trying to focus on him because he might be a problem character in a later episode that's going to give Andor some issues.
Yeah. So would this be? So do you guys think that because they're kind of doing 3 arcs, right? It's a 3 arc, and then I feel like a transition. So that beach scene was definitely the transition episode, right? So we have 2 more, or next episode, and then another episode to complete this kind of prison arc.
And then I think the finale is going to be a 2-parter on the end of this season. That's what I've been hearing, at least.
Okay.
Since we've started off with arcs of 3, I thought it was just going to be 4 arcs through the whole season.
I wonder what they're going to do for the last 2, because
I know
they do a heist, a prison break, and I'm like, dang, what are you going to do for the finale? You got to be packing.
Well, we know it's another attack or something, man. Because now that you keep bringing up Saw, that'd be a good way to end the season, just with even if it's some sort of preparation or prepping and planning, and then season 2 starts off with the whole thing kicking off. I don't know, man.
I mean, they got to get a base. Yeah, they got to get a base for too long. They couldn't finally introduce Yavin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That would be cool.
That would be cool. Them scouting out the old temples and stuff. Yes.
Yeah, and start setting up shop for literally the big moments.
Do you guys think we'll see Jeddah again?
I would love that.
If Saul's in it, then definitely for sure.
Because Cassian, I want to say, I have to go back and rewatch Rogue One, but I want to say he mentions that he's been to Jeddah multiple times.
Yeah, because he's telling her how dangerous it is.
End up, his final resting place, right? So
yeah, setting up that base. We need another Borgalet scene. I need a Air Force Group.
We get a little baby Borgalet,
Yes, our Lord and Savior Borgalet. He knows the truth. That's kind of all. I said, I enjoy this episode, but I didn't feel like there wasn't a crazy amount to talk about. But Nick, did you have any? We always got to go with the Easter eggs, man. Do you have any Easter eggs?
Whip out the sack.
Nick's Easter egg time.
Cool.
Well, we already mentioned Melshi, so I won't say that one. So in front, the man in front of Cassian when boarding the transport was sent to a planet called Belsavis, which in Legends was a hiding spot for young Jedi who has escaped Order 66. So if this does follow into canon, I think it's safe to say that those Jedi might have been found by now because they have a base there now.
Yeah, that name sounds from what media or comic or something is that from? I've heard that name before, and I'm
not entirely sure. Whenever I hear a planet or some sort of name I'm unfamiliar with, I just type it into Google, and that's how I'm getting a lot of these Easter eggs most of the time.
That's really familiar for some reason. I don't know why.
The second one would be the prison transport Andor gets on is the same transport we see the stormtroopers get out of in the Mandalorian, and it's cool to see how different they are, especially on the inside, to this First Order transports. Let's see. We already talked about Melshi. The last one. This one's cool. So behind, Luthen's always moving stuff around in his shop, and behind the Temple Guard mask is Padme's helmet from Attack of the Clones,
No
or
way.
probably not
What?
the exact one, but like it was like a Naboo headdress that she wears when her and Anakin take the cruiser
Oh,
back to
man.
Naboo.
is
Oh.
awesome.
Is that the one she wears when they're drinking tea and Hayden burns his tongue on the hot?
Yeah, that
Okay.
one. Yeah,
So,
and you can
listen-
buy it at Galaxy's Edge too.
Yeah, I was saying he just picked it up.
Shot-
He went to Batu and picked one up for
Yeah,
half
from
price.
Doc
No,
Ock.
man, that guy is a pawn. All he is a pawn shop. Like literally, we've already seen a temple guard drop his stuff off because he's been an Inquisitor. So now he needed some cash. Vader just needed. He's like, I don't need this thing. She's gone.
Best I can do is $3.
Yeah,
Hey, that's a one of a kind pawn shop. They got the mortar stones over. That's like
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's all I had for
Man.
Easter eggs.
Hey,
That's
that's
awesome, dude.
like I said.
I had
There
a
was.
theory. I had a
Oh,
theory.
Let's
go.
hear it. Let's go.
It's a little stupid something theory, but it'd be cool if the tubes that they drink out of the wall, like they're liquid / hunger, I guess, like just the ration tubes that they pull out of the wall. It'd be cool if it was the same like green liquidy ration sauce that they plop on the table, the trays in the Clone Wars Prison Break with Reiko Hardeen, Morale Ball, and Cad Bane.
Yeah.
And then he's like, put the season on it, you'll get used to it. Because when that dude
Oh,
said,
yeah, that's
don't
right.
worry about the taste, you'll get used to it or something. You
Yeah.
pay for the what? That reminded me of that because he's like
Yeah.
the spice. Like, the spice
Yeah,
man.
that's so crazy that that they're like, yeah, like if you win, you get like a dash of
Flavor.
flavor in it or
Dash,
something
yeah.
like that. I was like,
Yeah.
I
It'd be
wonder
cool
what
if that
the
was the same
flavor
stuff.
is.
yeah, for sure. Well, I think this is probably the quickest roundtable that we've
Yeah.
done. I wish there was just more to talk about, but there's like that's kind of how it goes sometimes. But yeah, if you guys have anything else to add before we kind of
I don't think so.
wrap this bad boy up.
I think we covered it.
All right. Well, if you guys are watching, thank you guys for watching. Come around on Friday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time to talk Tales of the Jedi. We'll be talking way longer than 26 minutes. I can guarantee you that. And as always, may the Force be with you.